yeah, it's. I think a 30-minute warm up is just.
I just thought I'd try it out there.
Oh yeah, no, I don't like it. Hey guys, welcome to another podcast on Touchscreen with myself, Tom Taylor, and Mitch Walkerton. Once again, how you going, Mitch?
Hello, mate. Going really well.
That's good, and it's a bit of a sort of a last minute deciding to do this podcast, but we've just come off watching. What we're going to do is we're going to try and we're going to just throw out some scenarios for each other and for anyone who's watching. Write down in the comment whether write down in the comments whether you like it or don't like it. I get a notification every time you comment. My phone goes ding, and then I see your comment. If it's about a forward pass or something like that, I don't want to hear it. But so we'll throw some just like a phrase or something that happens in touch football, and like we don't know what each other's going to say, and then we can just comment on whether we like it or hate it and why. Sounds like fun. Mitch, would you like to go first? Because I think you've got a couple more than I do.
Yeah, okay. So, and am I saying if I like it or I hate it, or
you just throw it at me, and then we'll talk about it, and then you can say what you think at the end. So I'll get
no problems. I'm going to say the move, the red rooster. Do you like it?
I love it. Once again, I know what you were going to say. You wish it was never a thing.
I hate it.
I love it. You do it once a game. You can't do it twice. I don't think it'll ever work twice a game. I know you're probably thinking along the lines of, is it illegal or not? Me personally, I wouldn't care if they said no, that's an obstruction, and they just sort of not allowed it from here on. Wouldn't bother me because they'd have probably grounds to say it is an obstruction. But I love using it when you have a superstar play, or not so much a superstar player, but if you've got someone that you know the eyes are going to be on as your main ball player, running the decoy, and then someone that doesn't get to do much ball playing, gets to throw that dummy, gets to run around, gets to actually have the play themselves. So I like it. I like it like that. I use it once a game, possibly, maybe.
Okay.
But yeah, not more than once if I do use it.
No, there wouldn't be a move in the game that I dislike more. And it's not even about the obstruction. I just don't like it. So
there isn't. Yeah. I've asked so many people, and there isn't really a specific way to defend it apart from being able to read when it's happening and getting a good sort of read on it.
Yeah, well, you just let the dummy half run and everyone goes man on, right?
You can, unless you're already too tight, because technically that's the open side, and it's
I guess
it's a lot of space to man on. But yeah, no, it's a good one, and I know how passionate you are about the old red rooster. All right, my turn. Okay, here we go.
Yes.
Swiping. So for those who don't know, swiping is you go to make a touch, and instead of them just touching you, they wax on, wax off, Karate Kid style, and swipe your hand. Oh, I just bumped the mic. And swipe your hand out of the way, and basically just give your hand a good karate chop. It's swiping. What do you think?
Okay, so I'm going to say in under 18s and juniors, I don't like it because I don't think they should do it in the juniors. In the open age, like I'm not a huge fan of it, but I don't mind it. So I'm not trying to sit on the fence, but I'd lean more towards, for adults, liking it than disliking it. What
100%.
about yourself?
No, 100%, because the last thing you want to see is an under 14s game where there is a 6 foot tall Islander kid versus the 5 foot kid that hasn't had his growth spurt. Next thing you know, you get a whack, and it just completely it can probably break his wrist. But yeah, adults, they do it a lot more sort of tactically. It's not aggressive and stuff like that. If you do it properly, I don't see a problem with it. It's not actually that hard to beat. I don't think it does much, to be honest. I think it's something you could put a lot of thought into, not a lot of reward. But definitely for juniors, I'd tell people not to do it because it's just a recipe for disaster. And then you start doing that, you get level 2 referees that don't see it often, and all they see is, hey, you're hitting him, so they'll penalise you.
Yep.
Yeah. Your turn.
My next one for you is the big boom boxes and loud boxes and a loud sideline.
Okay. Big boom as in like music in the warm-up as well?
Yeah, the music and all that sort of jazz.
I don't mind music. I don't like music to the point, I'll get to the in-game stuff in a sec, but I just don't like music to the point where everyone's sort of singing along in the warm-up. I like background music, but I'm not music enough for it to be a distraction and everyone's focusing on the music rather than the warm-up itself. So I always put songs that I know that no one's ever heard of that have just got a nice sort of vibe to it. I just don't like it being distracting. Hey, it's a warm-up.
Terrible. That's
just me. But as far as in the game goes, I love a loud box. I love a lot of energy. And the hard thing is keeping that energy for the whole game, because normally first 5 minutes just takes care of itself. And then it sort of comes down to whether or not it's fatigue or they start overthinking. It gets really sort of dreary in the box, and we've got to lift. So then those good teams, they're up the whole game, and it really intimidates you from the other side. Like even if you make a mistake and they're all clapping and cheering, you're in the box going, "Oh wow, okay, they're into us here."
Yeah, absolutely, for sure.
What do you think?
I love a loud box, plenty of energy, lots of encouragement, lots of support, back slapping, all that sort of stuff. It can only help.
Yeah.
You just touched on the warm up.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little bit outside the parameters. So let's say a 30-minute warm up.
Oh, no way. The only
20-minute warm up?
20-minute warm up for the first game of the day.
Okay.
20-minute warm up for the first game of the day. 30-minute, it would want to be 3 degrees outside.
Okay.
Want to be orange in 2019 for a 30-minute warm up. 20-minute, I think, is, if it's a good warm up, no wasting time. 20-minute, I think, is a good for the first start of the day. And then everything else, you just sort of need to just whatever is going to prevent like injuries. So some warm ups, like I'd prefer just doing the if we do the dynamics and no ball work, I'm happy with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I like a 15-minute warm up. Good stretch. I like having a little bit of ball in hand. And
I do. But yeah, it's. I think a 30-minute warm up is just.
I just thought I'd try it out there.
Oh yeah, no, I don't like it. All right, okay, I got one for you. Bit of a This is an interesting one. I'll skip that one. I'll come back to that. All right, the reverse spiral.
The reverse spiral.
So if I can't,
like Jamie Ainscote.
So if I can't throw a spiral on my bad side, what I do is I throw the spiral itself the way I would for my good side, but to my bad side. So the spiral actually goes the other way in the air. It's more of a junior thing. You probably don't see it as much. You probably don't notice it.
I probably don't notice as much. If I have.
Or would you say a flat no spin on it is better than the reverse spiral?
I don't mind if they're going to go reverse spiral. How about that? Might be a little bit like, for me, it's not the end of the world. So, yeah, I would lean more towards liking it than disliking it.
Yeah, okay.
Yourself?
If I see a reverse spiral, I want to spew.
Oh.
My reverse spiral thoughts is probably equal with your red rooster thoughts.
Okay,
I hate it. It's just asking the referees to say this passes forward.
Okay, yep, okay.
I think it's more of a women's thing. I actually see it a lot in women's touch and women's rugby league now. Even you see a lot of the reverse spirals from dummy half.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
they do it like from dummy half. You're standing still. It's probably different. You can work on your technique there, but yeah. Interesting.
Rightio. My next one for you is playing in pods.
Oh.
Like it or dislike it?
So this is a hard one because it really depends on my team.
Okay.
Normally, I'd say more often than not, I would play in pods.
Mm-hmm.
If I had at State Cup last year, we played in pods because I knew our wingers had no problem playing the whole game. There was no stage where our wingers needed to come off. There was one where he absolutely got a mad cork to his leg, so he had to come off. But they never came off because they were too tired. So if that was the case, and they were good enough, and they were just as good in the 30th minute as the first minute. I had no need to play a third winger because all I was doing was taking someone away from the middles and the links if I did that. So I played in pods, and that's probably the ideal scenario for me. But 18's coming up for Junior State Cup. We're not playing in pods. We're actually playing 5 middles, 6 links, 3 wingers, just because of what was in front of me in the team.
You're only playing 5 middles.
Yeah. So we only had 4 middles. We've trained up another middle. But it's just because we didn't train until after State Cup, it's just a really short turnaround into Junior State Cup to train. Like one of them sort of, you could tell that they would pick it up easier, and they're actually doing quite well in the middle. But yeah, I thought 25-minute games, they're probably fit enough to just play 5 middles.
Yeah.
Coming off 30-minute games, I think they'll be fine. But ideally, I think if I could pick, if I had selection over anyone, if I was the Australian Men's Open coach, I'd probably go pods.
Okay.
And I do think pods is really good for real young ones because you can teach each pod 1 move, and the team knows 3 moves, and it's not overbearing on the kids.
Mm-hmm.
But it does provide variety for your team.
Yep. Okay.
What do you think?
I'm the opposite end. I hate pods. I hate them with a passion.
Because you might get injured?
I hate them. No, don't even think about that. If you play rep teams, like if you play at Hornets, I hate even more is then when the clubs stay together in the pods. We'll keep a Maitland pod, we'll keep a Newey pod, and then we'll have a blended of this kid from so-and-so and this kid from the Bay, and they can make up the third pod.
I think that's the easy way to do it. I think that's just looking for the easy option.
I don't think
it doesn't challenge yourself as a coach to just do. You guys all know each other. You play together. Just do your own thing. You're a group.
Look, maybe in 12s, maybe even 14s, you can cop it. But if you're in 16s and 18s, I think you want to play with people that you watch and then learn from, and not just continue to play with the same people that you play with your club and you've played with your club. My biggest problem with pods is, and specifically at link, there's typically a difference between the number 1 link and the 6th link.
Mm-hmm.
And you can say, oh, that pod skips and all this stuff. I'm happy with 5 links. You can have your cover for your winger and whatever. When the game's on the line, you need your best 10 or 11 players out there. And I just don't like everyone basically playing equal time, because I think in every team, there's always a gap between number 1 and 2 middle, number 5 and 6 middle, and same with the links. So
I think you're right. When you get to the more sort of serious, more elite levels, you have to do what it takes to win. And if that means if you have a Dylan Hennessy in your team, you want to be having Dylan Hennessy attacking the line as much as possible, because all of a sudden your strike rate of scoring goes up.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. I can understand that. All right, it's my turn.
Yes, mate.
This is probably another one that you don't think about, which I'm starting to think about this more. I even thought about it tonight at Social Touch. Referees or players wearing sunglasses while they're playing.
It's a terrible look.
So not many players I see in sunglasses, and I can understand if they need prescription glasses that turn into sunglasses. I don't really like that. I think it's an unfair advantage. I think if they're wearing prescription glasses, it shouldn't be into sunglasses as well. But mainly referees wearing sunglasses, because that happens more often than not. You probably don't even notice.
I don't think referees should be able to wear sunglasses when they're refereeing. I just think it's a bad look. Shout out to Timmy the Tiger from China. He used to wear the big Horace Grant goggles.
Oh, yes. Yeah, but they're cool. They're cool. And I think they were prescription. But he did look a bit like he was about to jump in a pool, didn't he?
Yeah, it looks like he's about to go snorkeling.
Yeah. But my reason, see, I hate it. And the reason I hate it is because referees rely on eye contact with players.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And if you're wearing sunglasses, like I'm looking at you right now, but if I had sunglasses, it'd look like I'm looking over here. So to establish like a basic communication with people, you need eye contact. And if they're wearing sunglasses, they're hiding their eyes. So if they're trying to give you a warning while they're running, you probably don't know who they're talking to.
Yeah, no.
And as far as players, I don't think if there's sun in someone's eyes, it should be the same for everyone.
Bad luck.
Yeah, that's right. No sunglasses.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's our take on referees. Hope if you're listening, referees, take your sunglasses off because we don't know who you're talking to.
All right. So my next one is, and I think this is an older thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
But after the game, or potentially a grand final, where you do the big, everyone make a circle and join, and the captains will say a few words after a game. Both teams get together.
Yeah, I like that. Okay. Yeah, no, I like that in big games. If you do it every game, it can be a bit like, oh, here we go again. But big games where there's a lot of sort of on the line, like the perfect one would be the All-Stars game. Like that's probably the best example of doing that, Maori versus Indigenous. But yeah, grand finals, basically any game where by you winning, you're sending a team home.
Okay.
I think there's a reason to do it there, because like you've essentially just ended the tournament. Like say a few words and stuff like that, and because like it's hard.
I played NTLs a couple of years ago in men's 45s, and I think it's 45s is where it sort of starts from there up in the age. Every game you get together and like it. At first, I thought it was a bit how you going, but it is actually a nice gesture when you're in the older age groups, even if it's just a pool game.
And you've probably been playing. There's probably guys there that have known each other for 20 years, played each other a million times, and that camaraderie sort of, or that mutual respect is already there.
Yeah. So I wouldn't want to see it in under 20s in pool games, but I like that respect element too.
Yeah. And we did that every game at the World Cup. We had the photo and stuff like that. But
absolutely.
That was different because that's a case of you're playing these guys and after the week, you're never going to see them again. Unless you come across in another World Cup. But these guys, you might only see them on the field for that game and then never again in your life. So we had to savor those moments. That's a good one. That's a really good one. All right, my turn. Okay, I'm going to go. This one's mainly for juniors, but we can talk about seniors as well. So live stream in juniors predominantly only being 18 boys and girls, and in seniors only being men's, women's, and mixed open with only a sprinkle of, or should it be evenly spread? That's the live stream stadium field one game.
So I'm going to tackle the seniors first. So I think that they do sprinkle in other games. So it's just not the three opens divisions. And I think that the mix is pretty good. Like you don't want too many men's 40s games and that sort of stuff, right? So it can be funny, but you wouldn't want to see, 2 or 3 of those divisions in a day. So I'm happy with, more opens and younger men's 30s and stuff for the seniors. For the juniors, I know that last year at Dubbo, we were beaten in the grand final. I reckon we had 5 out of 9 games on the TV. And that's a lot, right?
We did too. We had 2 games not on the TV.
Yeah. So I think, sometimes, aunties and grandma and grandpa and others can't go and watch. It'd be nice to then be able to put them over to KO so that they could see the under 14s game. So to answer your question, I think it'd be better if you could not just exclusively watch 18s boys and girls and mix it up a little bit more with see more of the younger age groups.
Yeah. I think I'm on the same. I do for both of them actually, because I feel like you should be putting on the live stream what you believe will have the most viewership. And in seniors, like I don't know how many times people have gone back and watched the Central Coast men's 40s game where Mitch Walkerton takes that cracker of an intercept and subs off on his way. I don't know how many people will go back and watch that again. Whereas men's open round game between Penrith and West, both teams may not have made the grand final, but people would have an interest to go back and watch that. Like those are the games that generate views. And I think in juniors, you could have an 18s game. I don't know how much of the extended family or like a few friends might watch your games, but compare that to the under 12 girls, where they've only been to a couple of state cups. They've never been on the live stream before. Their parents will share it everywhere. It's the biggest thing since sliced bread, and that will attract views,
more eyeballs for our sport. Yeah,
that's exactly what we need. And 18 boys coach, I'm happy to not play as many games on a stream. Like we don't probably even need more than one game on the live stream in the round games. Yeah. So I'm happy to sacrifice that. Just get some younger ones out there. Yeah, because like you see it all the time. It's like shared all over Facebook when one of my friends' kids are playing live stream somewhere for school or something like that.
Nice. Yeah. No, I think we're sort of thinking the same. It was a bit. I felt a bit guilty, with so many games on the TV. So, anywho.
Yeah.
Tom, my next one is, and I'm going to be careful here. I'm going to say dudes who predominantly only play mixed and don't, let's say, challenge themselves by playing men's as well. So I'm certainly not having a crack here, but I'm going to say I think there are some people that only play mixed and never really challenge themselves playing men's.
Yeah, no, that's a good one. And I think I've got no problem if someone wants to play mixed, like like you look at the Wollongong boys, like their past has been always men's open, but they're sort of past their peak of being able to compete into the Sunday of men's open. So they're playing mixed. That's a great reason. They've all got families.
No dramas with that. They've done it. The thing is, they've done it before.
Some people might want to play mixed because their partner's in the team and they want to spend their state cup together. Again, no, whatever your reason is to play mixed, I probably don't care, and it's probably in your head the right reason. But if you're playing mixed and you're a guy, you should not make a level above you in men's. That should not happen. So you should not in New South Wales, Australia, or even you're looking at New Zealand and stuff like that. If you're a mixed player, don't pick them in men's. That should be just the thing. I think if you want to play men's open state of origin, or if you want to play men's open for the country, then play men's open for your affiliate.
Yeah. No, I agree. And I think that was the mandate from to pivot a little bit, Traddy, with regards to the men's opens.
Yep, and 100% behind him on that. That was bang on.
If you're going to NTLs and you're not playing men's opens and you're playing mixed, don't even think about getting picked. And
the thing is, it's the same with the girls, I think, as well.
And it should be too.
Yeah, because I could not think of a more, like, with all due respect to mixed, I'm not the biggest fan of mixed as far as a player goes, and that's from a guy's perspective. It's so much more intricate with tactics and stuff as a coach. But I can't think. Imagine like being a girl link in mixed. I would think that could be very boring. Run a latch, pull your corner, sub. Run a latch.
Yeah, potentially.
Pull your corner.
So no,
chop a hole.
You're right. I think if you wanted to play women's opens as well, I think you play women's opens. You don't go and play mixed. I agree with all your reasons about Wollongong and that sort of stuff. I just think there's, too many people. Well, not too many people. There are certain people that I think just only play mixed
because it's easier.
I think so.
Some people like to play mixed, and I've seen it before where they think it's just an easier way to get a trophy.
Yeah, potentially.
Yeah. But then the other side is you look at Maxville, who are in mixed Premier League, they probably don't have the numbers for a men's and a women's. So there's different reasons everywhere. But like I said, if you're a mixed player, then you should be a mixed player every level above that.
Yes.
All right. What have I got? Okay. This is something that came in probably 8 years ago, and it was a massive, massive big deal when it came in to this is I don't know about Queensland. This is New South Wales, and I assume Queensland had the same thing. Mitch, you probably remember it. The word went out, you must be in club socks, you must be in club hat, or the game stops. And for a couple of years there, if you were in the wrong or no socks, the referees would not let you play. It was 100% crackdown on uniform. And I think they still do, but everyone sort of abides by the uniform, well, except some 18 boys. But what did you think, or what do you think of the hard stance on affiliate uniform from hat all the way down to socks?
I think it's good. I like it. You used to see dudes in board shorts.
Oh, back ages ago. Yeah,
even before, like you don't want to see guys running around in board shorts and.
It was more so the hat socks. The hat socks is what I'm mainly talking about. Everyone sort of agrees that, yeah, shirt, shorts, that's a bit of a big deal.
Yeah.
But the hats and the socks were the ones that caused the biggest sort of uproar with the affiliates.
Well, yeah, you got team uniform, just wear the uniform. So yeah, I'd like that one, Tom. What about yourself, mate?
So I actually made a comment to New South Wales Touch, and it got a bit of traction on it, and then they deleted it. This is probably 2017 or something.
Yes.
This is when we're talking about the hats, and at the time, no one was wearing affiliate hats, and the rule was affiliate hats or TFA hats, which they sold at the venue. But they were selling them pretty expensive, so not many people wanted to buy them. And I put up a photo of Jonathan Thurston playing for the Cowboys, and he was and his headgear had no resemblance or logo to the North Queensland Cowboys. And I said, if we're supposed to be in a partnership and this guy is on $1 million a year and he gets to play not in his affiliate headwear, why do we have to when we're paying to play?
Oh.
That was my response. And it got a few people, oh, yeah, look at that. And then it got deleted. This is different people in charge of social media and probably different board members from New South Wales Touch then. But so back then I was like, this is just rubbish. Like, to stop a game, your referee telling me that I have to wear the right socks and the referee's not even in the right socks. What is this? But now I'm like, no, you should hold some pride in your club. Like, you should be proud to wear your club's uniform. And that's just probably me growing up and not having a whinge about things, and probably going from a player's point of view to a coach's point of view. Like, I hate it if anyone in my team are just like, no, I'm not wearing those socks. I'll just go no socks. I was like, no, put your socks on, mate. That's your club. You're representing this club. All right. So show some respect. So
okay.
I'm all for it now. I'm all for it now, but years ago I was like, I was like a protester.
There you go. I think I won my last one for you, Tom. And if your team is defending within their 7 metre line, and a middle or a link comes out with a big two-handed to try and win the ruck within the 7, do you like it or you don't like it?
I've actually got a video, and it says, "Don't do this in defence." It literally says, "Don't do this in defence." Like, me personally, if I was defending in the middle, I'd do it, because I'm like 100 kilos and it's very hard for me to get out of a touch. So I'm trying to do whatever I can to make it easier for myself. But the boys, if I'm coaching, I'm saying just easy exit. Let's just get back on side as quick as possible. Save that dominating stuff in the midfield, when the idea of doing that is to stop them from getting to the 7. Like, they're already here. Like, we're putting a hat on a hat. We don't need to do that. So it's just all this effort.
I hate it.
Yeah, they'll just sweep around. They'll swipe and they'll get it on the ground. You're out of position. They sweep, they dive, and you're figuring out your next tap off move. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I can't stand it. It's one of my real pet peeves, for the exact reason that you just mentioned. You get off balance, you lean forward, bad exit, let in a try.
Okay. This is one where I've specifically picked this one because it's something that we do very, very differently. So when you're coaching, this isn't so much a love it or hate it. This is just sort of a discussion about our sort of thought process. When the game is in play and we're coaching, do you like yelling from the box? Well, not so much yelling from the box, but giving running feedback to the six players on the field, or not?
So,
It could be any sort of encouragement, pointers, reminders, anything like that.
um, when they're attacking, no, because we've normally got a call of what we're going to run, or they'll talk. Potentially in defence, I might try and encourage, get out, be brave, that whole energy and noise coming from the box, the support element. So in defence, I will, but in attack, don't. And don't really like trying to yell what moves to run from the sideline, because the boys will have a call, then someone else might say something, and then it just ends up in confusion.
Yeah, 100%.
What about yourself?
And probably the more often, like when you do see that from, that's like a beginners coaches thing. They try to sort of coach from the sideline in attack and try to.
Oh, look, when I coached 12s and 14s, it was almost like you call every play. Do a rooster, run this, wrap out, fade down onto the middle, long ball back.
I actually don't say a word to anyone on the field. The only time I might yell out something to the six on the field is at a transition. We've just earned the ball back, and I'll yell out direct. That's, if anything, I'll just yell out just direct, subtle reminder that we need to go forward.
Yeah,
but
right.
I'm usually actually busy talking to people, and I don't actually really look at too much as what's happening. Like people that are in the box with me, they'll hear me go, "Oh, what happened there? What happened there?" A lot of what happened there's. So I'm not really. I'm specifically watching certain things, and I'm probably more often dealing with the people in the box than watching the game.
Sure.
And I reckon I thought, like when I was in the box, like sorry, when I used to play, and coaches were saying to me, "It's like, couldn't you hear me?" And I was always like, "Nope." So I reckon it's like, oh, there's no point in me trying to yell out because they just won't even hear me. But if I did the defensive one, there's definitely merit there that can help. Like they're almost like subtle reminders. It's like your conscience.
It's just
saying,
like get out and be brave.
Yeah, a bit of encouragement and stuff like that.
Let's
Whereas
be strong, all that sort of stuff.
I might yell out, "Oh, that's a nice touch" or something like that, but I never yell out. I don't really do that often. Doesn't mean I don't like give you some constructive feedback when you get into the box, but
no, I know what you mean. Yeah.
Actually normally my assistant coaches are pretty vocal with doing that in defense as well. So that's good. That's one less thing I have to worry about. Have you got any more?
No, I don't. I am out.
Anything that you can sort of come up off the top of your head? I've got one. I got one more.
All right, you shoot, and then I'll keep thinking.
Having a specific tap off or defensive team, depending on whether you win or lose the toss.
Normally I have a defensive 4 that I want to go out there and start. Normally, typically, whoever wants to go and tap off can. So I'll sort of state who I want to go out and defend and get a stop, but don't have a set. They're going to be our tap off, kick off guys. What about yourself?
Yeah, I have. It's an interesting one. There's been times in the past where I've been more confident. This is more so pre-tournaments than anything, where I've said I want this to be my tap off team, just because you guys have had more practice at this tap off and stuff like that, and you can execute it a lot better. You guys probably just need a little bit more work. If anything, that'd be why. And that's only probably in crunch games, like if we're playing against a team where we're either winning by a lot, losing by a lot. I don't usually mind. Defense, pretty much every sort of team that I've had recently, like at 20s, our captain would lose the toss and come back and be going, "Hey, we're defending, let's go," and he'd just pull his pot in.
Okay.
It wouldn't be a discussion. He'd be like, "No, I lost the toss. I'll get the ball back." That was his mindset, and
Okay.
it was like that's really good. Like it was because everyone's sort of like, "Oh, I don't want to go and defend. Who's going to go and defend?" And he was like, "No, we are."
Okay.
He would tell his brothers, "Get on the field. We're defending."
Yeah. Yeah. There you go. Okay.
So that was
Uh,
good. So we kind of did have a stop squad just because that was what they wanted to do. So no one was getting in their
yep.
way. But
So one I've thought of, Tom,
yeah,
it's if you have two assistant coaches or you have an assistant coach, how do you split tasks? Like, do you do attack, they do D, or vice versa, or do you like having set roles?
well, at Hornets level, I've had a not so great run with assistant coaches. I had a
Oh, shout out to all the old assistant coaches, by the way.
well, so I think my first ever head coach job as a Hornets coach, I had under 12 girls, and I had like
Mhm.
110 girls come to the first trial, and my assistant coach couldn't make it. She was from Parks, couldn't make the initial trial. And then we had finally got through the team selection, and then she said she could only make one of the three camps.
Beauty.
And after the first camp, after the first two camps, then the one that she could make, which was the third one, she turns out she couldn't make that either. So she
Right.
withdrew. And
Hmm.
then I had another coach brought in at the last minute, which was Amber Cheney, and she was
Yes.
great, but she
Shout
kind of
out to
came,
Amber.
yeah, she was awesome. She's still coaching
She's
Hornets, but
unreal.
she came
Yep.
in and she was as great as she was in very late. Like we had one training session with Amber and then the tournament. Um, and then the following year, my assistant coach didn't even come, like he wasn't there on the second day and probably only made 30% of training sessions. So he wasn't there when we played our grand final. So it was just me and one of the girls' mums who was the manager in the box.
Where was the assistant coach?
Don't know. He was at another sporting commitment.
Right. Okay.
Don't know whether to name him or not.
No, don't name him.
No, but yeah, so that was that. And yeah, so and last year at NTL's, training was just the only way we could put a time on. One of my assistant coach, he wasn't there often, and the other one, he got there as much as he could, but he had to mind his young kids at training. So a lot of
Right.
times he was spent dealing with that. Um, so yeah, a lot of times lately I've been feeling like I've been running it myself. And last year when I said I had a great coach in NYC, it was Matt Dawson. He lived out at Dubbo, so he could really only make the big training sessions we did, and then leading up to NYC, we only really had one big training session that he came to, and that's no fault of his. He
Mm.
lives out in Dubbo.
No, cool.
Um,
Yep.
but what I try to do is talk as much to them as possible, and we come up together with our game plan,
Hmm.
and then it's sort of like the way we've done it. So my assistant coach stood at the end of the box where he's the first one that sees them when they come off and
Hmm.
gives any sort of immediate feedback on their defense or something like that. So he'll give them the feedback, and then I'll give them what to run on with.
Okay. Yep.
So that's sort of just how it works. So they'd sub off. He'd be there, high five them, grab them while they're getting drinks, give them a bit of feedback, and then they'd go down the end, and then I'd be talking to him, and then he'd get the next guys sort of up. So we
Yep.
wouldn't
Yep.
really be standing next to each other. A couple of
Yeah.
times
Okay.
he'd come over and be like, "Oh, you check this out," or I might tell him, "I was like, do you see that?" So, what about yourself?
So I often pace up and down the back of the box. Uh,
I should just include
I
the little
can't stand.
video of you doing that. There's a
I
video of
can't
you on
stand
YouTube,
still.
mic'd up.
Yes,
I
there is. There
was
is.
actually going to post on this. I actually had this funny thing in my head, and it was going to be three pictures of you. It was going to be Mitch Walkerden, Mitch Standerden, and Mitch Runnerden. So it was going to be one of you walking, one of you standing, one of you running. It was going to be like one of
So
them
yeah,
memes.
I yeah. So I coach a lot with Brent, and he'll stand in the middle of the box and walk up and down. But he's comfortable. I just don't like standing still for whatever reason. I just get a bit too
The
anxious, I
way I
think.
see the
So
dynamic with you and Brent is Brent does a lot of one-on-one talks. He might pull one
yeah, that's
person
right.
aside,
That's
and
exactly right.
you will talk to a group, and he will pull one person and say, "Hey,
That's
you need to
exactly
look at
right.
this."
Yeah.
When he might be picking up at a 4-on-3, and he'll tell him, "Hey, that winger is crashing in.
Yeah.
You need to hit out the back or go over the top." Whereas you're talking to the group about
Yeah.
you need to do this better with your rucking and stuff like that. I have noticed that,
Yeah.
and because you're both mic'd up, I've got a mic'd up video of
Yes.
both of yous.
Yeah. No, that's right. So like I always watch the game, and then yeah, Brent will often do a lot of the one-on-one feedback and stuff, and that sort of works well for us. So yeah, but
See,
everyone's got
would you
to
say he's the best assistant coach you've ever had?
it. Probably like we work really well together. Um, but yeah, I've had a heap of different assistant coaches that you know I've worked with as well at Hornets and at Coast, and um, yeah, it's. I think it does help when you've got a bit of a role or a bit of a plan with regards to who's going to sort of look after, what component. And, yeah, yeah. But I probably coached the longest with him too, right? So
Mm.
yeah, so we just yeah
And that
bounce each
helps.
other
Like
off.
I've never really had an assistant coach where I've had more than one campaign. There hasn't really been
Oh
anyone that I've
yeah,
sort of. I usually have a different assistant coach every tournament.
yeah,
Um,
right.
like I think I had like my assistant coach for State Cup this year. He was really good at like he would rock up with his phone and make reels of the boys and stuff like that, and he would just get them full of energy and stuff like that. They really liked him, and he
Mm,
like ran the like punishments. He would run the fitness with the boys when they were getting like flogged after dropping the ball too many times. He'd be in there with them. And then the manager, I had a really good manager as well. So I'm hoping that that sort of becomes a common team
yeah,
in the next couple of years. So that'll be good.
helps the
Because
consistency, right?
oh, it would. Like I got a different assistant coach to 18s this year than last year, and it's Reg, it's Reg and Riley Stacey, but
Gotcha.
but they're just like having extra numbers. They run with the boys. They
Yeah.
fill in. They without them, the trainings would be just shorter numbers every week. So that's just so
Mm,
good for them. And
yep.
yeah, they come up with good ideas. We've got a brand new winger, and Riley's been doing a lot of work with him. So
Perfect.
yeah. Anyway, my list is, that was pretty fun. My list is empty.
My list is empty too, mate.
Yeah, but we've come up with more. Like this would be good to talk about with some referees. Like I've actually just filmed myself talking just to the camera. That's why I had that green screen, just about some sort of controversial things. And I've included one of the videos is going to be titled. This is just a spoiler alert. Um, I got penalised from the sub box. The one with your camera with your VO
I
when
remember that. Yeah, the
Edie
outside
was
field 5 up at
yep.
NTLs.
I'm going to actually talk about. I actually want to talk about the interpretation of what actually happened there
Yeah.
with the touch pass. So I
Mm,
think people will click on it if it's that guy from Touchscreen is getting penalised in the box by the referee.
yeah. No, it was a beauty.
Oh, here's one. Love it or hate it. Phantoms.
Oh, there's nothing worse.
It's
Absolutely hate
absolutely
it, Tom.
nothing worse.
There is nothing
And
worse in the game.
yes,
You know what I
nothing. Yeah,
like? It's sort of, I think when now players call miss, they're, I don't know, maybe because Phantom's a lot more prevalent in our game now, but there's a high level of respect, I think, for people when they call miss. And then the opposition often goes and, gives them a high five or, shows
yeah.
their respect, gives them a thumbs up or, um,
I
yeah,
think
really acknowledges.
I know the referees are supposed to be impartial and stuff like that, and they can't like shake your hand and that until after the game. But I wouldn't even mind it if the referee has literally been saved a tough decision by a good bit of honesty from the players. The referee can give him a sort of like a little thank you or thumbs up or even a little high five or something, just a show of appreciation.
Mm, yeah, I don't know. I think that's
But
outside of their job description potentially.
yeah, probably, but I wouldn't mind it. I think it'd just bit of humanize them a little
Yeah,
bit.
yeah.
Um, like I got in trouble one time. The referee was about to award a try, and he had his arm out, and I ran past him and just high fived it. I got it full subbed.
You dick.
Yeah. Anyway, well, I think we could be done.
Always good talking to you, Tommy.
Yes, we've got another one tomorrow. stay tuned for that. Did you forget refs? You didn't
No,
forget?
I'm all good.
Oh, the way
I'm
you
all
were
good.
talking, the way you were looking, I was like, oh, I think he just forgot. Right,
No,
sweet
good as
as.
gold,
Well,
mate.
I'm not going to say what episode it is because it could change, but we'll see you on the next episode of Touchscreen Podcast. See you later.
Later.